SEO is one of the most profitable marketing endeavors for med spas. Med spa is a local business, so the intent of search is going to be med spa near me, med spa Columbus, Ohio, med spa Jacksonville, Florida. The beauty of this is that there's not as much competition at a local level, meaning your med spa can dominate if the SEO is done properly. My name is Jason Parks. We've worked with med spas across the country. We've achieved page one ranking results. And I'm going to just walk through the high level tactics and execution you need to do to succeed with your SEO. It all starts with having the right SEO foundation for your med spa. I like to use the analogy of a ladder. At the very top of the ladder is the descriptor term of your business, and that is a med spa. So med spa is at the top of the ladder. All of your services are the steps leading up to the ladder. Facials, lip injections, Botox, chemical peels. I like to put the most profitable service at the top of the ladder and then the least profitable or least desirable towards the bottom. So you then have a priority list of all of your services and what you need to prioritize from an SEO perspective. The reason I'm bringing up this ladder analogy is because it is crucial for your med spa to build out service pages. People are going to search for the term Columbus Med Spa, Columbus, Ohio Med Spa. And in many instances, you want to optimize your homepage for that descriptor term. And I'll get more into that. But people are also going to search for the services, lip injections in Dallas, Texas, Botox, Dallas, Texas. And by building out service pages, that is going to improve your chances of ranking. The analogy I like to give for service pages is make the page really strong that it could be used as sales collateral, that you would be so confident that you would show it to any prospective patient. How do you do that? You have experts write the content, and I'll get into that later. But building out service pages is extremely important. Here is Boss Gal Beauty's website. I'm just going to give you a visual example of service pages. You hover over services. In the main navigation, you'll see all the different services. Let's say we click into chemical peels. There is a dedicated page specifically for chemical peels. It talks about the process, the expected results. It has the pricing. So it's really just great sales collateral for chemical peels. But the beauty of this is that if you go over and do a Google search for chemical peels Columbus, Ohio, okay, there's Ohio State. It's going to be hard to outrank a EDU website. But then there's Boss Gal Beauty, number 2 for their chemical peel page. So you want to build out those service pages if you haven't already. Okay, I talked about the importance of the upfront strategy. I want to go through different med spa scenarios to help you construct your SEO strategy, whether you have a single location or multi-location. This could make a really big difference. So let me walk you through a few examples here. Endless Rejuvenation is a single location med spa. They're located in Jackson, Ohio. This makes the SEO strategy pretty simple. I've talked about that top of the ladder descriptor term of med spa. Well, on the homepage, you want to optimize that for med spa Jackson, Ohio. The homepage is a great page to optimize that top of the ladder keyword for. Then when you go into each of the service pages, you want to optimize that for Botox in Jackson, Ohio, lip injections in Jackson, Ohio. So that is an example of a single location SEO strategy, and I'm going to go through their site just to give you a little bit more of a visual. Okay, so the homepage, as I mentioned, it is optimized for med spa in Jackson, Ohio. You can see the keyword included in the header there. If you go to Google, med spa in Jackson, Ohio, we have this client ranking number 1, and that is their homepage, right? And then if you go into the page like facials, you'll see that we've optimized this for facials in Jackson, Ohio. And you go to Google, facials Jackson, Ohio, there's Endless Rejuvenation. So that just shows the strategy and the results for this single location med spa. Boss Gal Beauty has 4 locations: Clintonville, Grandview, Easton, and Powell. I'm going to walk through a multi-location strategy and our thought process behind that. So for all you multi-location med spa owners and marketers, pay attention here. So all 4 of these locations are in Columbus, Ohio. So what we did is we optimized the homepage for Columbus Med Spa. We then optimized each of the service pages for Columbus as well, because that is the larger market where there's the most population. So chemical peels in Columbus. We strategically optimize all service pages for Columbus. We then created individual location pages. And this is a page for each location. There's a page for Clintonville, Easton, Powell, Grandview Heights. So here you'll see that it has all the contact information. It lists out everything for Clintonville. But then when you do a Google search for Clintonville Med Spa, you'll see them populating there. So it's a much different strategy for a multi-location business. And the thing is that every business every med spa is going to be different based off of the suburb that you're located in and how large your market is. But I felt like going through this example of Boscal, multi-location, along with a single location and endless rejuvenation would help. I know that was a lot of information, so here's just another visual for Boscal, where their homepage is optimized for Columbus. They have individual location pages for Easton, Powell, Clintonville, and Grandview. And then the service pages are optimized for Columbus. So there's just a visual to hopefully wrap that all together. So here's the interesting thing when it comes to search volume and keyword difficulty for med spa keywords. And keyword difficulty is how hard it is to rank on Google. So when you use a tool like SEMrush, which is what our agency uses for keyword tracking, it shows you on a scale of 1 to 100 how hard it is to rank. Well, when you just search for med spa near me and you're seeing a keyword difficulty of 42, a 42 is pretty high. For local businesses, we like to see in the high teens or the 20s. 40, it can be tough to rank. And then you're seeing the volume, how many people are searching med spa near me. When you're using tools like this with a med spa, the issue is that these are local businesses. So this gives me a good indicator that a lot of people throughout the country are searching for med spa near me, but that doesn't show how they are actually searching in their local market. So let me explain. So if you see now, I've drilled into more granular keywords at the local level, like Med Spa Columbus, and you'll see that the keyword difficulty is a 22. So at the very beginning of this video, I talked about how you have a good chance of ranking in your local market because that keyword difficulty drops. And then in terms of the volume, for Med Spa near me nationally, you were seeing 40,000. You're seeing the volume really gets lower. There's 1,000 volume for Med Spa Columbus. If you drill into a suburb like Dublin, it drops to 110, the volume. But let me just tell you that a lot of these softwares, it might not seem like there's a lot of searches, but these local keywords are gold mines. So overall, the point that I'm trying to make is that you have a good chance of ranking locally because there's not that much difficulty in this sector. We work with a lot of different industries, and competition-wise, it's right in the middle of the pack. And if your site's well optimized and you follow some of these tactics, you can do very well locally. Understanding authority score is important for SEO. And I always talk about you have to understand the foundation of SEO to succeed. And authority score is one of those foundational elements. So Boscal, who has a lot of page 1 exposure on Google, they have an authority score of 34. Blue Sky Med Spa, which I just found on the 6th page of Google searching for Columbus Med Spa, has an authority score of 6. There is almost a direct indication of if you look at all of the results on page one and pull in their authority score, they're likely going to be very similar. And then you start to go to page two and you're seeing a drop, and page three and a further drop. So that authority score is really important. And what that is it's backlinks pointing to your site. So Boss Gal Beauty has backlinks from Columbus Underground, and they've been featured on ABC. And their mall location at Easton has a link pointing back to them. So in the eyes of Google, they have authoritative sites linking back to them, whereas this Blue Sky Med Spa, very low authority, likely there's not a lot of sites linking back to them. So the reason that I bring this all up is that when we work with med spa clients and they ask us how long for me to rank on the first page of Google, yeah, we can optimize a website really well, but if you have a low quality score, you're climbing an uphill battle, and it's just important to understand that. You want to hear a crazy stat? 44% of search clicks go to the local pack, these three businesses that prominently display with their reviews. This obviously pulls in from Google Business Profile. This is a big part of local SEO for med spas. Let's focus first on the reviews. My advice to med spa owners and marketers is make sure you're asking for reviews. It's amazing how many people can have a great experience, but if you don't ask, you're not going to get those reviews. I mean, if you're just looking at this example here, I'm more likely to go to this Jiva Med Spa or the Medis Zen because it's 906 and 215 reviews versus 38. So make sure you ask for reviews. I also recommend getting a sticker on the outside of your door, so there's some signage. There are card readers. If you look up for Google Card Reader, you could have something where people can scan their smartphone against a card reader, and it will go directly to Google Business Profile. So reviews are really important, and it's a piece of the pie to rank well on Google Business Profile, but it's not the whole puzzle. It's just a piece of the puzzle. So you want to make sure that you have professional photos. You want to make sure that you're, that you have a good business description and that you have the right primary categories. I will link in the YouTube video on how to optimize your Google Business Profile. And if you can get exposure there, that will help tremendously with your SEO. Okay, I have covered a lot on med spa SEO, but let me go over some final tips to improve your SEO that I have not gone over yet. So first off, Google loves expert content. And what that means is the esthetician or the expert on staff should be the one that's writing the content for your website. So our marketing agency, what we do is we interview all of our clients to get that expert content, and then we put it all together and structure it. But Google doesn't want someone who's not an esthetician or who's not an expert writing this fluff content. They want it coming directly from the expert, and that is going to help improve the user experience. It's going to help with SEO. So make sure that you're creating expert content. The other thing is you want to have a good website with a good user experience. Long gone are the days where you could just throw 1,000 words on a page and hope, and sprinkle in some keywords and hope that it works well. Google is looking for indications that people are having a good experience on your site. Look at the med spas that are ranking in the top 3 to 5 on Google. See, compare their website versus yours objectively. But you want to have a good looking website. Let your personality shine. We love including photos and videos of the med spa. It kind of ties back to that a good user experience. People want to see who they're going to be working with, and they want to feel comfort before they step foot in the door of the med spa. So don't make your website stuffy. Let your personality shine through. The other thing is creating a roadmap is really important. I've covered a lot of things on SEO, and it requires a strategy to succeed. So you want to map out, this is what we're going to focus in on month one. We're going to optimize our service pages, or we're going to optimize 2 service pages in month 1, 2 service pages in month 2. We're going to go over to our homepage. We're then going to focus on the Google Business Profile. this doesn't happen overnight. It takes a lot of time and it can feel very daunting and intimidating. So create that roadmap for your med spa. Um, the last thing is just make sure to document if you want to make sure that you're tracking your progress. So I've talked about SEMrush, and you should be tracking your keywords and you're able to track them versus the competition. And that's going to show progress. If you're optimizing a page on Botox, see where you ranked before that page launched versus where you ranked after. That's all I got on MedSpa SEO. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, my name is Jason Parks of the Media Captain. Please reach out to me and we'd be happy to take your MedSpa SEO to the next level.